Yo guys, what is up? Grizzly here, and today I'm gonna do a guide for Fiora top lane. The reason for why I will do a guide for Fiora today is because I've played against the champion in ranked so much recently, and I really start wondering like why am I constantly losing to this champion. And it wasn't necessarily that I was getting like outplayed by my opponents, they weren't like better than me at laning or anything, but just in my opinion Fiora is extremely strong into so many current matchups top lane. She obviously wrecks tanks because of her true damage, but it's not just that, she also like wins a lot of attack speed based matchups, because if you hit the W onto the target, their attack speed actually gets slowed. So it's not like you have to get a stun on them and parry their like Irelia E or Jax E or something like that. If you just get the attack speed slow on them, you will be in a really good position to win. And also Fiora scales so well, it's like she can win early game, but she's not like, that's not where she shines. But if she gets just like Ravenous Hydra and Black Cleaver, there's just like no way to win versus her 1v1. Even if you build like a standard Irelia build where you go like Trinity Force into Blade of the Ruined King into like Deadman's Plate or Guardian Angel or something like that, Fiora actually with only 2 items has a real chance beating her, and I just think that's like so overpowered. So unless you find Fiora extremely hard to play because she is quite mechanically intensive, you should definitely try her out because she is so strong at the moment. Basically her passive deals a lot of true damage. It's basically vitals that spawn randomly around the enemy champion, and if you proc them you gain move speed, you also heal and you deal true damage. Your Q is like a dash and it deals damage, and if you hit a target the cooldown gets reduced. W, obviously the most annoying ability in the game probably, can parry all abilities, even summoner spells. And you stun the opponent if they do a CC into you while channeling it. E is an auto-attack reset, and it also slows, and the second proc of it crits. And R basically spawns 4 vitals kind of, and if you proc all of them you get this giant heal area. So the kit is basically revolved around fighting 1v1, although later in the game when you are quite tanky and if you do a lot of lifesteal you can also dive into the enemy backline. Okay. So let's go over the root pages for Fiora. So if you just have like budget pages, if you're on a fresh account or something like that, you can run the standard 1580 page. It's not bad in any way, I think it's the most used, if not the attack speed one, but this one is fine. The attack speed one, obviously you just change the quints for attack speed, this is also completely fine. Another page which you can do into AD matchups where you don't need MR early is the 10% CDR page, so you can get 40%. The other one is MR per level, and this is obviously if you're against an AD opponent as well, but this can also be used against AP opponents such as Vladimir that doesn't really do a lot of damage to your early game, but later around level like 8 to 9 is quite dangerous, and then you will have more MR this way. So those are basically the pages. I would not recommend like Armor Pen or Lethality as it's called now, or something like that, because you deal a lot of true damage. And the reasoning between the full AD and the attack speed page is basically if you're against kind of a tank or something that you will fight for a long extended period of time, and you don't really need those quick like really strong trades like a Maokai for example, or even like a Darius, you go basically attack speed because you can like all in him throughout a long fight. But if you face something like Irelia, I would recommend the 15AD page, because then you can like kind of do these short kind of trades and space array in and out, and therefore get an advantage that way. But either one is fine. As for the mastery page, this is actually really straightforward, and I literally only think that there's one mastery that is good for Fiora, and that is Fervor of Battle. So starting things off, since you deal true damage, and true damage is not affected by sorcery, you go Fury. Here you go Feast almost all of the time, because you will have so much damage that this won't really like matter at all. Then you go the Vampirism. I just don't like natural talent on Fiora. You could go for it, but since you start like Torrent's Blade and you build a lot of heavy AD early game, you actually get a lot of value out of this one. Here you go for Battle Trance, because then again percentage damage is not affected, true damage isn't affected by percentage damage, and this will basically only like hinder you in all-ins because you'll take more damage, and Bounty Hunter is too high of variance, especially in top lane where as Fiora you will be splitting most of the game and fighting your lane opponent, so you will like maximum get a kill on the enemy top laner and maybe the jungle, and therefore 2%, but this gives 3%, and you will most likely fight for over 3 seconds, so quite self-explanatory. Then you go into the Armor Pen obviously because you don't deal magic damage, and the Fervor of Battle is such a good keystone of Fiora. It's like it's made for her. You can keep it up in lane so easily by just queuing onto your opponent constantly, and yeah, it's just a really, really strong mastery on her. Then you go into the resolve tree, you go for recovery, because unyielding is quite worthless. You won't build that much MR and armor. You go for tough skin because the other two are quite bad. You go for runic armor, of course, because you will build 1 if not 2 lifesteal items every game, and then you go for insight for the reduced summoner cooldown, which is just really good on Fiora. Flash and teleport are both great summoners on her. So that's basically it for the setup. As for the build, you basically want to rush Ravenous Hydra into Black Cleaver. You want to go either Ninja or Merc Threads, and then you want to go into either a Bloodthirster, a Guardian Angel, a Deadman's Plate, Spirit Visage, depending on the enemy team comp. But just a really straightforward guide. This is by far the best way to build Fiora, and I would heavily advise you to try her out and play her in solo queue because she is really strong at the moment. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.